Very well. All right. Thanks, Steve. I apologize for that. So I still have 7:02. We'll go ahead and call the regular council meeting for January the 26th. We'll call that meeting to order. Mr. Lawson, I think you're back there. Can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure can, no problem. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, right now, we just want to pause and say thank you for being God all by yourself. Right now, God, we just ask that you step into the midst of our meeting tonight. Lord, it is not about us, but it is about our constituents here in the village of Woodlawn. We ask, Lord, that you continue to pray for those that are affected by the COVID and those that are still homebound with this pandemic. Lord, we know that in the end, you will win. And these blessings we ask in thy son, Jesus' name, and for his sake. Amen. Roll call, please.
Eric Burkhalter.
Present.
Esther Boyd.
Here.
Rosemary Brown.
Present.
Pamela Fitzgerald.
Present.
Robert Lawson.
present.
And Kiana Tribune.
Present.
Very well. So, team, we do have some reading and disposal of previous minutes. The regular council meeting scheduled for December the 15th. Are there any deletions, additions to those minutes in front of us? Having none, I am going to ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the December the 15th, 2020 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 15th, 2020 regular council meeting.
Second.
Motion's been moved properly. Second, all ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
There are no nays out there. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. A special council meeting from December the 21st of 2020. Again, that was a special meeting that was December the 21st, 2020. I need a motion to accept the motions presented in front of us with any deletions or corrections.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the special council meeting on December 21st, 2020.
Second.
Motion been properly moved and second. All ayes.
Aye.
Very well. All right, we had our organizational meeting that we do with council each year. That meeting took place on January the 12th, 2020. I do need a motion to approve the minutes in front of us with any deletions or additions to the meetings.
2021.
2021. I'm sorry. Thank you, Monica. I heard you.
It's my fault, sorry.
Ms. Brown is shaking her head like, no, it's 2021. I do apologize again. January the 12th of 2021.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the organizational meeting held on January 12th, 2021.
Second.
The motion's been moved properly. Second. All ayes.
Aye.
Very well. All right. I am going to ask that I amend the agenda for 1 quick minute. Before we get too far into our meeting, I'd like to introduce to our team the new Parks and Recreation Director, Ms. Paula Sherman. Paula, you're back there. There you are. There you are. Paula, we are excited again. We welcome you to the village of Woodlawn. I had the opportunity to meet with you briefly today, but I wanted you to come on tonight just to introduce yourself to the team and to the residents here in the village of Woodlawn that are watching as well. So I'm gonna give you a couple minutes just to talk about who Paula is, and again, welcome.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, and thanks for the invite. My name is Paula Sherman. I have been involved in community work for over 15 years. Started out in the west end of Cincinnati, Ohio, worked in Pleasant Hill, which is mid-city, I should say mid-urban area of Cincinnati. And I've done community engagement, writing grants, working in schools. I'm a past educator, and I have a love for community. So I am looking forward to helping Woodlawn reach the goals that it has set for the community center, or the recreation and the pool, and just for the villagers as well. So I'm excited about that opportunity. And you guys have the perfect name, because it does take a village to raise children and also to build a community. So it's going to take all of us. It's not just going to be me by myself. So I'm happy to see all my team that's right here on the screen today. This is good. I've got about 9, 10, 11 team members too. So this is
Yes,
exciting.
yes. And I like the
So thank
fact that, Apollo, you picked very quickly up with the word team. I'm trying to stress that word as we move forward, because that's how we have to operate. We have to operate as a team. And so again, I'm excited that you have come on board here in the village of Woodlawn. And I'm sure when individual council members make their way down to one-on-one with you, try not to bombard Miss Sherman team, but give her some opportunity just to understand what's ahead of her. So I promised that I was going to meet with her probably one day this week. I kind of backed off on that idea, Ms. Sherman. I think that, again, I want you to kind of just to understand what your process is moving forward, and we'll get together one day next week. How does that sound?
As we need to do it soon, so
All
I'll
right.
let you slide this time.
I got you. All right, I appreciate that. All right, but
Okay.
again, welcome to the village of Woodlawn.
Well, thank
Ms.
you so
Sherman. We
much. I appreciate
that.
it.
Thank you so much. All right. Appointments, confirmation, presentations. I don't believe, team, that we have any confirmations. I do want to bring to the attention of council that I swore in our newly Officer Philip Means. We did a swearing in with him week before last. And so he is in training. I've been seeing him out on the road with his trainee. So I'm excited about his future here with the village of Woodlawn. Had the opportunity to just chat with him a little bit in terms of his goal. Where would he like to be? And so I'm excited. And I think that he is will be a great asset to our team. So welcome again, Officer Means. Philip Means is his name. We got a couple small presentations out there tonight. Pete, he is with MVHA. And so Pete, this is your time.
Thanks so much, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Members of council, everyone listening. Pete Schwigerup with MVAH Partners at 9100 Centerpoint Drive in Westchester. It's good to see many of you. Hopefully you remember me from some of our previous meetings and discussions regarding Wayne Lofts, which did close at the end of the year and is now started construction. We certainly appreciate everyone's support with that development and the effort to get it to closing. It will take us about a year to build, and from there, certainly we're excited about being able to rent high quality yet affordable housing options to the workforce in Woodlawn. So that's a great first step. As you may know, we are actually partnered in that development with the Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church, who's in the area. And they do own adjacent and additional land that was also and always contemplated for some future development opportunities as well. The long-term goal here between our team's partnerships was to really create a multi-phased, multi-generational housing campus where we can really serve a variety of housing types within a multi-phase development and also have that tying together if possible. So with that, the first phase was Wayne Lofts, where we were able to be successful securing funding. And that was the reason that was the first phase. Is as we apply for these funds through the state, it's competitive. We saw the scoring was good for the workforce development. The senior development didn't have as good of a scoring opportunity. So we started with that phase. The goal was and is to really bring back additional phases of senior housing. And it was anticipated or hoped that we could do so in this year. That plan changed as the scoring system for this year was finalized. Unfortunately, right now we're kind of in the same boat as last year. Senior developments that got funded last year were 98 score in better. This year, we think they're actually going to be higher because people know how to score better, and it's a second chance, and you can look deeper in. So the reality is we really know that in the senior pool, it's going to take a 98 to a 99 to score and get funded by the state. Right now, unfortunately, under the existing scoring, the best we can do is a 96 to a 97, which will fall short. So while we are still excited and understanding and waiting for the opportunity to bring the senior housing to the market, and that was our goal this year, with the existing financing that we use, the ability to do so in this year, unfortunately, just isn't there. So we really talked with our development partner about what does that mean? Do we just sit idle until the senior opportunity arises? Or do we see what else we can do to maybe still provide variety and diversity in housing, but also preserve the opportunity to bring the senior housing when the time is right? And I'm going to try to screen share here. Am I allowed to? It says the host would have to allow that. I do have a plan I can share with you if that's able. And in the interim, I can talk to it. So basically, the remaining ground that's undeveloped that I mentioned that the Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church owns is around 9.5 acres. It looks like I can share now, so I will. Let's hope this works. Jerry and the mayor had to put up with me last time, and I didn't do so good. So can anyone or everyone see that on their screen, the site plan here?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I got a couple sheets I'm going to share with you. Obviously the darker bolded area, and I don't know if my mouse shows up. I'll try to explain verbally too. But the darker bolded area is the 9 acres that I'm discussing. You can see just above that on the page where it says Wayne Lofts under construction. That's the parcel that we're under development on. It's around 3 acres. We're using that's actually more like 4 acres, but we're using around 2 acres for the development. The remainder of the eastern portion, the portion on the right, is actually just going to be remaining open space. So this ground is just south of that 9 acre, or just south of phase 1, and is 9 acres. It runs all the way from Chester Road on the east to Wayne Avenue on the west. The site that's bolded did come through a rezoning process around 2 years ago. And Jerry or Monica, if I'm off by much, feel free to clarify for me. The property was actually rezoned for the proper rezoning. It was a RPUD, Residential Planned Unit Development, which is the same zoning that we have on Wayne Lofts as well. That RPUD was planned for senior at the time, and was 86 units that were approved. That plan obviously didn't go forward. I think the Housing Authority was attempting that, and the project never went forward. So the base zoning is RPUD. It allows for up to 83 units. In theory, those are the permitted uses. That said, we are hopeful to really kind of rethink about what the concept should best be. And this plan that we're showing really can take the site and break it up into 3 opportunities and 3 uses. And we think hopefully better maximizing the use of the site as a whole, and providing, again, more housing diversity in this development effort. The 2 acres nearest Wayne is preserved for that senior development that we referred to. The building, I'm going to switch pages. Hopefully this changes. If you can see that same page, you see a building rendering now. That is basically the same building rendering we shared for Wayne Lofts, and same architecture. And so in theory, as you're driving down Wayne, there will be some consistency between these 2 new buildings. And so that's the senior loft phase that we're preserving. And that would allow for as many as 60 or so units of senior housing on that 2 acre site. And that's pretty consistent with the density of how we developed Wayne Lofts phase 1. So there should be some, we hope some real nice consistency in the architecture and the density of those buildings as they would get developed next to each other. On the other side of the site, the Chester Road side of the site, which is the east side of the site, we've got about 4.5 acres over there that we want to potentially introduce a new product. And what it is townhomes, workforce townhomes. So Wayne Lofts phase 1 is workforce housing, higher density multifamily, mostly 1s and 2 bedrooms, targeting young professionals and singles and small families. It's a higher density building, more of an apartment style building. So it'll certainly attract smaller households. This phase of townhomes would really allow us to broaden the bandwidth of what we could serve in the workforce by providing 2, 3, and even 4 bedroom townhomes that would provide, for families with children and a little more space and needs. Units would range from as much as 900 on the small side, as big as 1,500 square feet in the units. And I do have another rendering. I'll switch to, hopefully that is showing up, and hopefully you can see some 2-story townhomes on this slide. And that is kind of the format. This is an 8-unit version of the building. We're most likely would be more doing 6-unit versions of the building, but you can see each individual unit is broken up to have its own architecture, its own front porch. And we try to do these in what you'd call a new urbanist way, where they feel like they're up on the road and, in parallel parks out in front. And you're really trying to show the front face forward into the way we would design this. And so you can see we got a brick wrap, some siding, but a mostly brick front. And then certainly the rears do have a little more siding. And we do use some shake and other accent materials to kind of, again, break it up and create some variety. There would be some ranch units. If the slide change occurred right, you might now see a ranch cottage. Accessible units, our 2-bedroom units are actually ranch style formatted. The only preface I want to make on this slide is this does show a cottage with a garage, and we do not anticipate being able to do that. That said, we are going to be creating some really nice 100% accessible green cottages with direct access living and covered front porches and rear patios and all sorts of nice features. And so you can kind of see that back in this site plan again, is this 4.5 acres. We'll have a drive that runs through, and then a circular area where we can service the majority of the units, community building up in the front, same on-site management and community center, community room, fitness center, business center. We'll all be in that. We will do some cross-marketing and services and amenities between it in phase 1, but they can also be very autonomous since they're not directly connected. Now, you can see the rear edges of each will get pretty close to connecting to each other. And so what doesn't show in this plan that we would hope that happens with all these phases, including what's under construction, is that we would create some pedestrian connectivity and some circulation there, so that it is a little bit of a master plan in a community where people aren't having to walk all the way around or drive all the way around to get from one phase to the other. In the middle of these 2 housing phases, we're going to preserve around 1.5 acres for community civic type services. And now this would be maintained and owned by the church as it's planned now, but their goals, I do believe, are to create some sort of mission-based community center or community civic space in this area. So it, as conceptually drawn here, wouldn't have any additional development of housing or commercial uses, but could include some civic uses, whether that be building or outdoor spaces or a combination thereof. But we certainly would use this as a way to kind of break up the development and also use it as a way to connect all 3 phases of the residential development together into this kind of centralized amenity. So with that, the reason we are bringing it forward is there are some, while the base zoning is still there or is there, there are some changes to the concept if we were to proceed forward. We felt this was a great opportunity to, since we can't pursue the senior yet, brings additional new investment to the area and diversify what we can serve families with in the area. Another hopefully 40 to 50 townhomes will mean another $10 million worth of real estate investment there. So we're hopeful, this is something of interest. We just wanted to gauge your feedback. As if you were supportive, we would then possibly pursue some modifications to the PUD to bring forward a new concept plan for approval. And happy to discuss or answer any questions anyone might have from here. I'll try to stop this screen sharing if I can.
If I can, excuse me, this is Jerry. Pete met with via Zoom meeting with the mayor and I. And the reason he's coming to council is just to make sure that you understand they do have the approval for the PUD residential in place, but the concept plan has changed, and it's considered from hearing from Hamilton County a major change or adjustment, and they would have to come back to Planning Commission for approval of their concept. But at this time, Pete has a deadline with the state of Ohio, correct?
Mm-hmm.
For us to file a letter saying that there's a zoning in place. And we just wanted to be transparent with everyone on council that if we do that, they still have to come back to council. All we're doing is saying, yes, the zoning's in place. They meet the zoning requirement. And Pete, I don't think there's anything else needed in that letter.
That's correct. Yeah. It's basically confirming the base zoning, and the base zoning permits for multifamily. But what we don't want to do is submit that letter and then come back and ask for a concept plan change, and then there be issue with our concept plan. So the goal is just to get some feedback to say, okay, if we head down this path, your understanding and thinking that these changes make sense and that there's something you are interested in considering, and then we can keep the project moving. That excuse me, the application to the state will go on February 11th. We'll find out the award in May. This is the same format and timing you might remember from last year. And so our goal would be submit in February, have the letter, the base letter we need for zoning, and then in advance of the award in May, we would come forward, apply for the modification with the goal of having that modification approved before we would have to accept the award, or before we would accept the award from the state that comes in May.
I have a question, Mayor. You're on mute. Want me to go ahead?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, go ahead. I'm
So,
sorry.
Well, am I hearing this right, that you're the approved PUD from previous, the approved concept was for senior housing, and now the concept is changing?
Yes, the existing approved concept is for 86 units of senior housing in a 3-story format. What our concept plan shows is future senior housing development so that we can still deliver that desired housing type to the community. And then on a portion of the site, adding some of these townhomes as well, so that we can still take advantage of the opportunity of this funding source and also deliver some additional variety of product to the market.
So the senior housing would be on the
Lincoln Heights.
Wayne side.
The Wayne side, exactly. Yes, sir. 2 acres will be preserved for what we hope would be around a 50 to 60 unit senior development on it.
Correct.
And these two projects would be completed simultaneously, or senior housing would be put on hold because it hasn't been approved, and the other
Right.
In a phase.
Right. We would apply for the townhome phase this year, and we would unfortunately have to wait for that scoring system to change and be more advantageous for the senior deal. So our hope would be over the next year or two after we'd be able to bring that back. The state scoring system changes after this year. So also why these last 2 years it's advantageous to pursue the workforce development. And by doing the townhomes, we can kind of create some variety. But we did want to be sensitive to the goal of not only Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church, who has senior desires on site, but also in our previous conversations with the village, I think encouraging and supporting senior housing was desired. So the goal is to kind of have a plan here that can accommodate both, so that we can continue to move forward, but also preserve that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, Mayor.
Sure.
Are you familiar with the project that happened within, I guess within the last 10 years, probably, the Old Valley Homes? I don't know if it's
The model,
That's,
The
yes,
model group.
I am
And
familiar
I'm
with
looking
that.
at the townhouses, I'm looking at the style of the houses that you're saying that you possibly might build. Would it be similar to that development, the townhouses and the cottage style houses that they have there?
It would be similar in that I believe that is also two-story townhome product. I haven't been in those units to know what they do or don't have. I can speak to what ours do have. Our 4 beds are 4-bed, 2-bath. They will have a first floor master, first floor full bath, and an upstairs full bath with the 3 beds and unit laundry, roughly 1,450 square feet. The 3-bed, 2-bath townhomes are roughly about 1,350 square feet. Also have in-unit laundry. All the units are going to have in-unit laundry. 2 beds are around 900. They're ranch style. So they also offer that 0-step lifestyle and access point. And in fact, are very attractive to seniors as well because they're basically our senior cottage. All the units are 100% accessible and visitable, and they'll all be built to green building standards. I don't know that all of that was required then. If I'm thinking about that development, it seemed like it was just kind of a lot of the identical units where we do try to create a little variety in our fronts and facades so that there's a little maybe more architecture to them. And all that is still very up in discussion. I don't know if you noticed from phase 1, but there was some architectural transition and changes, and we are still able to adapt things. So as we bring forward that concept, if there were some things that we needed or wanted to do to make sure you felt like it was an aesthetic product, we can certainly address it.
So all of these units would be for a lease and not for purchase, even
Right.
the companies.
Yeah, they are
Correct.
rental.
I have no other questions, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Burkhalter. Anybody have any other questions?
No, he
All
answered
right
the
now.
question I had.
All right. So go ahead, Ms. Fitzgerald.
So if this all works out, if it was to work, what this would be phase 2
Two.
after.
Phase 2.
So is that 2022, 2023?
So
Uh,
phase 2 would occur 2021, which would be the townhomes, and submitting in February, finding out in May, and starting construction late year 2021, with desires and hopes that we're bringing back the senior phase in 2022. I will preface, it will also depend on the state scoring system having some changes that help us, but certainly we'll be advocating for that in the process.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions out there?
Yeah, I have one now.
Sure, Ms. Brown.
Regarding the senior housing. You could possibly go into a phase 3 or 4. But what happens if for some reason or another, do you have a time frame on trying to get the proper scoring for senior housing? And if after a certain period of time you are unable to get that scoring, do they have any plan B for that 2 acres?
Yeah, so as part of this phase, we would just be acquiring that 4.5 acres from the church to do the townhomes. They would retain the community center area and this phase, specifically because they want to control and assure that ultimately that senior phase happens. It would be our hopes that it happens in 22. That said, I got to be the first to admit, the scoring system will ultimately derive that. We can advocate as much as we can, but ultimately it will take some changes. They have it in the past had scoring for second phases and things of that nature. So there are certainly some angles and we're optimistic. But I can't for certain say if and when we can get that done with the financing we use. That said, the church will own it. I would imagine if we can't perform like we hope because scoring doesn't change, they're going to be looking for other avenues on how to do that. And certainly we're ready and willing at the first opportunity. There is a new opportunity coming, I think, in that the bond program, it's a similar funding that we use through the state. actually got strengthened by the last stimulus bill. So we are starting to investigate some other funding sources that aren't competitive. It's just still a little in the infancy to be certain those are going to work or not.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody have any other questions? So team, what I'm hearing is out of this conversation, we just want to see if there is a consensus for Pete to kind of write the letter in support of the project. That's kind of where we are right now. Does anybody have any objection to that letter going out in support of this project?
I have some concerns, Mayor.
Okay. You want to talk about that?
I just have concerns on where we're going as a village. I believe we need more residential homes than we do more apartment units. We're already developing one at Wayne Lofts. We have 3 that are on Springfield Pike. And this is a prime opportunity to bring more residential homes, whether they're small cottages. I mean, I like the concept of the small cottages. I just don't like the concept of them being rented or leased. I would rather they be built to be purchased.
Well, we have to keep in mind, Mr. Burkhalter, that is not our land for us to say, you know, I understand and I agree with you 100%. I would love to see more housing, but at the time, you know, with that property that they're trying to develop, that's their property. And so what they have to do is come to us and saying, you know, with the concept that they're talking about doing, one, we know that it's permissible because we at some point approved something up there with a PUD. So I see where you're going with that. And I just think that we the village need to have some further talks in terms of what is our next step in terms of additional housing here in the village. And where would we like for that to happen?
And I agree, Mayor. That's why I don't like that this is just coming before us and needing a vote very quickly when we should have been discussing this. I'm listening to this, and no disrespect to is it MVH or MV?
MVHA,
And no disrespect to MVH, but what I'm hearing is that the church is selling that portion of the land to them to develop it how they want to develop it. And the church is holding the other portion to ensure that there's senior housing. So,
that's correct.
I mean, the church could sell it to whoever. If they sold it to MVH and they chose to do residential housing, that's up to them.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Ms. Brown, you had your hand up.
Ms. Boyd had hers up first.
I'm sorry. I didn't see Ms. Boyd. There you are. Ms. Boyd, take yourself off of mute.
And then Ms. Trabue.
All right, I just wanted to speak on, we also doing research and looking at your data about generations, millennials, and others. Apartments are very popular right now with the millennial generation. So I understand what Mr. Burkhart's saying too, but I also would like for us to do our research and know what would be more desirable and profitable to the village as well. That's it.
Ms. Trabue.
So, Mayor, just asking for you to state again and clarify what exactly we're asking for. They're asking for a letter of support for the concept, much like what we did before
with
on the
PUD.
original concept.
Correct.
And that letter is going to whom?
That letter is with Pete and his team that's going higher up for the scoring piece for the monies, should I say.
That's going to the state?
Yeah,
Correct.
it's part of our application to the state.
Correct.
Mayor, this is Jerry.
Wait a minute, Jerry. Ms. Kiana, were you finished with your comment?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Jerry.
I just want to clarify one thing. The letter that we would send to the state, that the village would send to the state, is basically saying that the zoning has been approved for this process. Because the PUD zoning has already been approved. All we're doing is informing the state that the zoning is approved. Pete has to come back to Planning Commission with the concept plan because it's a major change.
Correct.
Planning Commission to review, modify, do whatever they want to do before they approve it, before they can get their building permit.
Correct.
So there's,
Ms. Brown had her hand up for a while.
Go ahead, Jerry, were you finished? I'm sorry.
I was going to just finish by saying there's really no vote of council. We just wanted to make sure, like I said early on, we were transparent to council and letting you know that this has been changed. And this is what MVAH was able to work out with the church, and the church is willing to do. The church still wants to retain a portion. I guess I have one question of Pete. Down the road, Pete, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. Down the road, you don't get the funding for the senior housing. Would your group still move forward with some senior housing there? I mean, that is the core here with the church, and I believe the village is looking for senior housing as well.
I mean, it is our goal, and we desire that. And the challenge is you can't build it without the financing. And so as long as that funding source and financing source is there, yes, absolutely. But until that's there, I unfortunately can't, because, you know, you need the funding and the financing to be able to build it. So we are committed to our partner in phase one, as well as what we hope is phase two, that we're going to be coming back for phase three. And it's only a matter of their desire and willingness to be able to make it available. And then again, the scoring system. The other source of funding, I had mentioned the bond funding. We are pursuing that again, but we would still have to vet and finalize that it is another source that we can use before I can say officially, you know, yes, we guarantee we're coming back to do that phase. And I just want to be honest and transparent too. Our goal is just to bring forward, as you know, housing opportunities for the community, and really hopefully diverse variety, so that all families and households in the community can be served. And unfortunately, I can't go get all three of those at once, but we can serve two groups with the opportunity we have. Sometimes communities, 90% of the state, they don't have scoring components for family or senior deals. So in some ways, it's really rare to even have the scoring to get one or the other done, let alone both. So it is a source of funding. The state will be bringing upwards of $10 million worth of tax credits to the area to help fund the development of around a $12 to $13 million deal. So I hope, you know, we can take advantage of that. And I will say, for Councilman Lawson, we have done some market studies, and I understand your point. And in certain opportunities, there's a single family lease purchase program that we can bring to communities. Again, I'm then stuck in a scoring system that sometimes does or doesn't allow me to bring it places. And right now, unfortunately, that doesn't score. But we're always looking for ways to bring, you know, those opportunities to marketplace too. The good thing about this is we're talking about serving some larger families here. And I do want to clear that while we do have some affordability, we don't have any Section 8 involvement, no public housing involvement. Our renters or residents are true workforce individuals making upwards and can make up to up 65,000+ a year in annual income and still meet these definitions. And the benefit is that maybe they have to rent that unit up there in the development near Kroger, and they're spending for a 2-bedroom $1,100-$1,200 a month. And we're going to be able to deliver them a townhome, their own individual direct access unit. And that 2-bedroom is going to be about $750 to $800. So for the resident of Woodlawn to get a $400 rent advantage allows you to save, grow down payment, and become a homeowner faster. And that's the whole goal of this program. So I really think it is deeply serving another group of individuals in your community that will be able to become homeowners quicker if they have these types of opportunities and options in the community.
Is that up to 65,000 for the household total, or one?
Yes, household total. It's 80% AMI, adjusted median income for the county. So it would vary depending on the size of your family. And we have various bandwidths that we can serve, and depending on which income bandwidth you fall in, you get a little better rent. So, but our residents are paying their own rent, so they have to make enough to afford the rent, but also make under that 80% bar. And just from a county perspective, the 80% bar is essentially 80% of households in the community. And with some of these being ranch, again, we are still hoping that on some level we can serve seniors, because seniors aren't disqualified here, that it's just not age restricted. So they would be also living there with families and so forth.
Okay. All right. Any other questions out there, team?
I just want to make sure that we understand. You're just asking for a letter saying that, yes, we are saying that that area has been approved for that particular type of zoning. That is Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church property that they have agreed to sell to you guys to do that development plan that you spoke about. They are to retain the front portion, 2 acres, for senior housing.
And they will be a co-owner in the new phases as well. So they'll actually retain both portions, but be a co-owner with us in one.
Right. Where I agree, we do need more housing here in the village. And I think that we need to really start to entertain and to try to look for developers to come in to develop some of the property that we do have that could possibly be for more senior single family homes. That's all I have. I have no problem with creating that letter.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Kiana, did you have your hand up out there again?
I did. I just wanted to ask Emily, this is not something that we need to make a motion on, correct?
No, because all the village is doing is confirming what's already been done, which is that the zoning is approved. I think that the goal here was just to make sure council was aware of the path this is going down, but this issue will not come back in front of council. It will only go to planning commission. There's no action for council to take.
Other than just the letter that needs to go out, right? And pretty much we've already done that.
Jerry will handle that as the manager.
Yeah,
I'll admit that it was kind of, and I apologize, my desire to some extent, because we're going to apply to the state for funding, and it's literally a $30,000 application, and our team is going to have hundreds of man hours into it, and we already have 100+ man hours into it. So it was kind of just wanting a gauge to say, well, if we're going to go down this path, I would love to just hear and see if there are major concerns, minor concerns, or whether we certainly wouldn't proceed if this just was something that really was just not a feeling that you wanted to get behind or wanted us to pursue. So certainly any input you can give is great. And just know those who have any concerns, we're still going to be working with you and making ourselves available if this does go forward, and so to get any concerns you have addressed.
And so without that being said, council, do I hear the majority of us in support of that letter going out? Again, this is nothing changed. This is just basically doing something that we've already done. We have already approved that area for a PUD. So with that being said, does that anybody?
Mayor,
go ahead.
I don't want to harp on this. It's not the same. What we're agreeing on is the PUD. Yes, the PUD was approved, but now they want to do something different than their original PUD.
Correct. But Mr. Burkhalter, we're not, as council, we're not approving him tonight verbally saying with your project. What I'm saying is that land, they came to planning, can't remember when it was. We approved that property for such project. So they're going to have to come back to planning because they have a major change in their plans. The original plans, they have a major change. So they have to come back to planning. This is nothing more than us saying, being transparent about what we approved that property for. That's all that is. But again, we are not saying that we are approving his changes.
Yeah, just to be clear, council's role in the PUD is to approve the concept plan, and that's and place the PUD overlay on the land, and council has done that. At that point, council doesn't have any additional role in determining how the property is developed, other than the basic requirements of the underlying PUD. It's up to Planning Commission to approve the development plan at that point in time. And then if there are changes to that development plan that are considered major as opposed to minor, those have to go through the Planning Commission to approve those changes. And that's where we are. And I believe that the letter that is being submitted simply will confirm that the PUD that council did put in place is in place, and the development that they want to do would comply with the basic zoning requirements, which it would.
Does that clarify, Mr. Burkhalter, a little better?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, do we? Go ahead, Ms. Tiana. I heard your voice pop out.
Yeah, thank you. Just one question. Jerry, would you be able to send the letter to us when you develop it?
Oh, yes, I can send you the letter when, once I get the draft. I guess it's going to be very similar to the last letter that I sent to this on Wayne Lofts, the original Wayne Lofts property.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And the only thing you need is a majority, right? You just need.
That, yes, I'm just looking for the majority consensus of council to have that letter sent off, correct?
Mayor, we don't even actually, council
We don't
need to approve it. It's
okay.
This is just an kind of an FYI for council.
Gotcha. Very well. All righty then. All right, Pete, I thank you so much.
Thanks so much for your time.
To beat you up, but we just want to make sure that we have all the questions answered from all council.
Anybody who has additional information, feel free to get in touch with me through Jerry. He's got all my contact info. Pleasure.
No
everyone.
worries.
Thanks so much for your
time. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Take care.
All right. All right. Ms. Reeves and Ms. Smith, I believe you're back there for a Center for Social Justice. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Center for Social Justice at Urban League.
Okay. All right. I'll give you the floor.
And I didn't know whether, Chief Tillman, did you have any introductory words or that you want to share?
No, I just mainly wanted you to have an opportunity to come on and introduce yourself to the other members of council. So if you could do that, just to give them an intro and as well as the village manager, what your role is and what you're trying to achieve, and that we're trying to assist you with that and partner with you to help us be better at what we do. So if you could just speak on that, and then they may have some questions of you from there.
Absolutely. And we do have a presentation as well, but I will not go through the full presentation. So I'm gonna cue Kendra when it's time, if she can get host privileges. And we're just going to go over a couple of slides, but I wanted to take this opportunity to just talk to you guys about the Center for Social Justice. First of all, thank you, Chief Tillman, for inviting us, and Councilwoman Treview for making the introduction with the chief in the first place. We were launched last summer in August of 2020 in direct response to the civil unrest happening across the country and the national call for accountability in police misconduct cases, but also the national call for police reform. Our board chair at Urban League stepped up and said that he wanted to start the center in July, and I came on in about August of 2020 to build this initiative from the ground up. What I think of significance is that we had started out with one staff member, and I hired Kendra on in October. And since then, we have really been going on an engagement campaign with police departments to, one, consult with them as stakeholders, but two, to talk about ways that we can collaborate and partner. So Kendra, if you can pull up the slide. Can you see this?
Yes.
And if you can go to the vision and the mission slide. Yes. So our mission is to work with both communities and police departments in Southwestern Ohio on 4 key reform areas. 1, to eliminate racial profiling. 2, to reduce uses of excessive force. 3, to ensure police accountability when there is misconduct that happens. And then 4, to establish community oversight of police departments. And that, when I say community oversight, we're talking about resident-led community oversight. Overall, though, our vision is really to have a region that's free from racial inequity, profiling definitely, any uses of excessive force. And overall, we hope to change the way that our racial disparities in the criminal justice system locally by working on police reforms. Next slide, please. So we talked about those 4 key areas: racial profiling, uses of force, accountability, and community oversight. And I'll just pick one area to do like a deep dive in. And we've gone over this full presentation with Chief Tillman. But if we can skip to the use of force area, Kendra. We've identified policy reform areas that we want to work with local departments and communities on. So in order to reduce uses of force, and we've talked to several police departments too, and who have helped identify some of these buckets. We want to do a regular review of use of force policies and partner with police departments to use best practices to improve them. Duty to intervene. That is something that folks across the country, communities are talking about. And what that means is when there's an officer that is engaged in misconduct, there's other officers that should have a duty to intervene and to stop that before someone gets seriously injured or hurt in that interaction. And then the other thing that has been a national call is to ensure like transparent investigations when there is some type of use of force. As a matter of fact, those were some of the key aspects of the reforms that came about in Louisville, Kentucky after the tragic death of Breonna Taylor. We also think that there probably needs to be some type of uniform increase in training requirements, particularly when it comes to de-escalating situations with target populations. So those that are experiencing mental health challenges, young people, even the elderly in some situations. And then third, the other thing that we're looking to do is to have on the federal and state level a database of use of force incidents so that we know when it's happening in our area. And then we can also hold those individual officers accountable if it is seen as an unnecessary or excessive use of force in those situations. So I want to sort of, I guess, give a high level summary. Kendra, you can stop sharing if you like. So I've talked a lot about the details, but I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking to you guys about what we're going to do practically, right? So we are collecting a lot of data from departments. What we have found is a lot of local departments do not have their data readily available for community members to pull. You would have to go through a public records request or, send something formal to a department to get it. What I can say, and I've already complimented Chief Tillman in person, but Woodlawn does a really good job of pulling together the type of data that communities would want to see. Like, how many people are you stopping and arresting in your jurisdiction? Can you break that down by race so we can see whether there's a racial disparity there? The report that we've seen from Chief Tillman even breaks down the incidents and stops by officers. That is the type of information that we wish that every single department in Southwestern Ohio would provide. So we talked to Chief Tillman about really using Woodlawn in that respect as an example for other departments. I hope that they will model that. You can only identify that there's a problem and come up with a good solution if you have the data to go along with the stories that you're hearing from community members. So we're collecting data from all 45 law enforcement departments in Hamilton County. We're also, as I stated before, meeting with police chiefs and their staff directly to introduce ourselves, to hopefully identify areas of potential collaboration. And that is exactly what we did with Chief Tillman. And just to give an overview of, I think, what direction we're headed with Woodlawn is that, one, we are going to do a full presentation with the police department staff so that they are oriented to who we are, what we would like to do and collaborate on. Two, we would like to work with the chief and hopefully council and the city manager on creating a resident-led public safety commission or something of the like. Something where we can get community members, actual residents of Woodlawn, together to see some of the reports that you guys see, to be able to ask their questions, and also to be able to lift up complaints and concerns that they may have, and that you guys can hear it, and also Chief Tillman can address those things directly as well. Another potential issue that we've identified and still have to have discussions around this is hiring and recruiting a diverse police department, our police officers. I will tell you that out of the 6 departments that we've met with so far, every last one of them have identified this as an issue that they are having. So because this seems to be a little more widespread than just one department, Urban League is trying to tap into our internal assets. We do have a workforce development program, and we want to talk to some of the police chiefs, maybe in a group meeting, to see if there's an opportunity for us to pivot some of our workforce development to help with diverse recruitment in police departments, because it is very important to have the police department reflect the communities that they're policing. So with that, I've given a couple of examples of things that we're talking about and planning to do. I am happy to take questions, or Chief Tillman, if you have anything to add, feel free.
I just want to say thank you, and just wanted to mention to the members of council that as of yesterday, we received our final certification for safe policing, for safe communities from the state of Ohio, the Ohio Collaborative. It came out as an executive order by the president that all agencies had to be in compliance with that by the 31st of this month. And we've already received our final certification on that as being a safe policing, safe community agency.
Good job, Chief. Good job. Good job. That's great. Great news. Great news. Any question for the chief, Ms. Smith, Ms. Reeves, her team out there? Any questions for them? Again, Ms. Smith, we thank you for coming in today, just giving us a brief overview of that. And it sounds like that more work to be done with the chief. So,
I got a quick question for Ms. Smith. I had my hand up.
Sure. I'm sorry, Mr. Lawson. Go ahead.
My question for Ms. Smith is, I like what you're doing, and I like the program, how it's really set up. But my only question is, how many other police departments have you partnered with besides Woodlawn that have been receptive?
I will say, I consider Woodlawn to be our first true partnership. What we've done is we've met with a total of 6 departments and identified some areas that we could collaborate on. Overall, I have to say that the reception was a lot warmer than I anticipated. Exactly. And I think that can be attributed to something that Chief Tillman actually said to me, is that folks know that policing has to change. And it probably makes sense to partner with an organization, if anything, as a, you know, a check and balance, right? And what I understand is having these initial meetings will help us identify points of collaboration and build credibility, but we may not always agree, right? But I think that the point is, if there is, for example, heaven forbid, there is a critical incident or a use of force in Woodlawn, because we are building a relationship and have a sense of credibility amongst each other, I would probably reach out to Chief Tillman first before something happens in the media to say, hey, how are you guys planning on handling this? And once he gives me a response, then we'll use our channels to communicate that to community. And I think that that could be the beauty of additional partnerships, is to be able to use Urban League's credibility and us as a platform to be able to build that trust that has been deteriorated, you know, for a variety of reasons.
Well, definitely, we definitely need it. And I just want to encourage you, if other communities kind of decline or not receptive to it, make sure you push on, because we definitely need this, not only in Woodlawn, but all over. So I like what you're doing, and you got my blessings, and keep pushing.
Thank you.
Mayor Poole.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you to Raquel and Kendra, and then also Chief Tillman for being open to the conversation. I think that it's an opportunity for Woodlawn to really step up and serve as a model for the rest of the county, as we normally do in other areas as well. And I think, to your point, you know, the fact that we are kind of already ahead of the curve with collecting some of this data just sets the stage for us to continue to do that. We talk about transparency a lot, and I think that's really important for us to kind of step up. Chief Tillman has talked about a lot of the trainings and things that he and his force have already completed. So I think it only makes sense. And the other piece is thinking about pulling together this body for residents to be able to voice concerns and also voice areas for improvement is really important, because I think a lot of times when people don't have somewhere to go, they go to other places, right? They go to the media, they go to social media, and then things are blown up to the point where it's almost hard to even address it because so many other people have been involved. So I think creating that body would be of benefit to us as well. So thank you for that. And please let me know if there's anything I can do to help support moving this forward.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. Again, thank you, Ms. Smith and Ms. Reeves. I appreciate you coming in tonight. So again, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
No worries. All right, Clerk, do I have any petitions or comments from the public today that has been funneled through the manager by any chance?
Yes, Mayor. There is one, and then we got another, but she going through the other chat. So Ms. McCullough had the questions. They were sent to the village manager, and I sent them to council as well before the meeting.
Monica, the only thing from Ms. McCullough, Tracy McCullough, you're talking about?
Correct.
Was from Tim. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but that wasn't the full scope of her questions.
Oh, I only received 2 questions.
Right. There were a couple more, but she has 3 in total from what she spoke with me about after she spoke with Tim. So they're in I have them if you need them.
Because Tim left me a phone number to call her tomorrow, so I was going to do that. So
you'd like them to be addressed through council.
All right. So I have the questions. Okay, we're going back and forth. I have the questions, and she's questioning with the new development on Wayne Avenue. Is there a plan for the blue building on the corner of Marion and Wayne Avenue? Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, that is the property that I believe you have been dealing with for the last couple months.
That is it's a single family home, but it looks like a 2-family home. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right.
It's been in disrepair for I don't know how many years.
Gotcha. Okay.
With the property owners. The owners say they're still going to fix it up, but we're just going to figure out we may have to go ahead and just push the county to condemn it and board it. And
So so why that you say that, Jerry, and probably Ms. Brown or Mr. Burkhalter can probably help me on that building was condemned some years ago.
I believe it was.
And I'm not understanding how they were able to occupy that building and it was condemned. I know very well that it was condemned because I thought that we were going to get the brownfield money to level it. Do you recall that?
I believe it was condemned. And then just within the last 3 to 5 years, 3 to 4 years, maybe, someone bought that property and they came to council because they had been given some citations and they were unable, they expressed the fact that they were unable to make the corrections to the building.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
they pretty much abandoned the building.
Okay.
I believe it was the gentleman
Right.
that came in and said his wife wanted all these things done and he couldn't afford to, they couldn't
Right.
do it. But
Right.
I do believe that building was condemned.
Yeah.
And
So
Tony
it
has
sounds
his
like
hand
Jerry can call the county and see what we need to do with that because that building it's a mess and it looks unsafe. It
Yeah.
looks unsafe. So Jerry, if you could follow up with the county on that, see what our next step is with that, that would be helpful.
Mayor,
Hands
up.
Mayor, Tony has his hand up.
Go ahead, Tony.
Mayor, you and Ms. Brown, you both are correct. That property has been condemned on 2 occasions. How they managed to get out of it, no one knows. X-Pacs had it condemned, and the previous Mr. Edwards, when he was the code enforcer, had it slated to be condemned.
I remember.
How they got out of it, nobody knows, and so forth.
Right.
Given umpteen chances to make proper repairs to it, and as you can see, it has not moved forward, or the owner has not moved forward doing what they need to do to bring it up to code. So it's on time for that place to go. So.
Okay, I agree. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. Ms. McCullough's other question that she wanted to know, with the building across from Dairy Queen has paper covering window.
You had Chief one.
I'm sorry, Chief.
I just wanted to
going
add
from
a
one
comment.
screen to the other. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add a comment from a public safety standpoint. Police and fire has gone there. I can tell you personally, from the 3rd floor, you can see the 1st floor.
Appreciate
From
that.
From the 3rd floor, you can see down to the 1st floor. They had a rug over it, and we went there for a domestic call. And if we hadn't watched our step, we would have been down on the 1st floor. So I don't know if that's been fixed, but I know that officers know that that building is a hazard. I don't even think there's anybody in there. But from a public safety standpoint, for police and fire, it is an issue.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So again, let me go back to this question. I'm switching from my email to my Zoom. All right. So again, the building across from Dairy Queen has paper covering windows. Is there an ordinance related to this? Not for sure what building. Is it building? Is it one business? Not for sure because she's not being very clear in here.
It's one of the businesses, Mayor, that has the glass all covered in, I believe black.
Okay.
So I think Ms. Rose.
Encore. Is that
Okay.
where Encore was going to be? Is that what she's talking about?
She doesn't put specifically in here. So what I'm going to do is just make some notations on that. And Jerry, I know you're making some notation so we can follow up with that. Because she doesn't say what building. It just says building.
Does it say on what side of the street?
It just says building team across from DQ. It doesn't say what building.
It's the strip mall across.
Mayor, she's referring to the strip mall.
The strip mall?
She's referring to that strip mall right next to the Encore Club where there is a, I guess the owners have a vacancy in the building that's not occupied, that they do have I believe it's black paper up on the windows and the door.
I think
So
that used to be a barbershop, that section right there?
Yes.
A beauty salon and barbershop, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll check it out. All right.
Looking for a second location, Robert?
Kind of, sort of.
It is.
Mayor, there's one more last.
And then,
It's been asked before, what is the plan to beautify Springfield Pike?
Monica, I'm reading from my email. If I don't mean to be rude, but if I could just take control of this meeting tonight. Thank you. So her last question is, what is the plan to beautify Springfield Pike? Again, that's ongoing with Sean and his team with economic development. And so that is an ongoing thing. You know, folk are looking for something to happen within months. It's not going to take that, but certainly it is in our plan. So all of these concerns will be fed back to Ms. McCullough. Okay. All right. Committee reports, Finance Committee. Any other questions concerning those questions out there? Finance Committee, Ms. Trabue?
Sure. So Finance Committee met on January 19th, 2021. We do have a new Finance Committee this year for 2021. I serve as chair, Pamela Fitzgerald, and then Robert Lawson are also on the Finance Committee this year. So we met on January 19th at 7 o'clock. We talked about the tax collection. So Mr. Charles Willis provided us reports for tax collection. We looked at 2019 and 2020, did some comparisons by month. We also looked at the funds that we had collected in the road levy through 2019 and 2021 as well. We also talked about the progress working with Rita for our tax collections. They're still working with Rita for that conversion process. That'll continue through February of 2021. We also will be having a Rita representative come down in February for some training on preparing tax returns so they can assist residents with filing their taxes for Woodlawn. Mr. Engel provided some finance updates as he normally does in our meetings. He gave a 2020 financial report. He also talked about the recap for 2020, shared that the village did better than expected financially in 2020, which was a blessing because we know we had a rough year with the pandemic. So it was good to hear that. He also shared appropriations and revenue reports with us. We talked about the general fund, looked at receipts and disbursements, and then also gave the fund balance report, bank reconciliation. We talked about overtime as well, gave some figures for that. We spent some time talking about income versus receipts, specifically at the recreation center. And then for new business, we talked about consolidating some fund accounts within our general fund. We had a brief mention of Harmony Park, and then we adjourned the meeting at 7:59 p.m.
Very well. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Trabue and Finance? Having none, Law, Ms. Brown? Ms. Brown?
You're muted.
I'm just talking and I'm just muted.
There you go.
Hello. Hi. Law Committee met on January 20th at 7 p.m. The committee for this year for law is myself as chair, Robert Lawson, and Pam Fitzgerald as members. The law committee consisted of the legislation that we have before us tonight and a couple of pieces of those legislations. One I'll talk about is ordinance number 02-2021, which is imposing a fire hydrant maintenance repair replacement fee. And what that does is if it's passed, it will add $1 to everyone's water bill monthly. And those fees will be collected by the water department and forwarded on to Woodlawn, and that will go into a fund that will be used to repair our water hydrants. Cincinnati Water Works, like I said, will collect that fee for us for a small fee. And another ordinance that we have is 04-2021 is changing the contribution to our Mayor's Court Computer Fund. Previously, we had racked up quite a bit of money in that fund. And because of what we were under the impression that we could spend it for, it was suggested that we reduce that fund down to $1. Since we've had our new finance director, he's come in and given us options, more options, educated us more as to what those funds can be spent for. So we now are asking that we increase that fund back up to the $10, which is, I believe, the maximum amount that we are allowed to collect. There's a ordinance 05-2021, which we're asking to advance to the general fund for $165,000. With that being said, for community block grant improvement, with that being said, it's anticipated that that $165 will be replaced back into the general fund by the end of this year. The tree board, we have an ordinance regarding the tree board as to funds that we can set aside for our tree board for things that we have to get done regarding trees that are in the community. We're asking that that be considered and approved for $15,000. I believe last year we spent something like $14,000. So we're asking that that be considered for $15,000. Those are just a couple of the pieces of legislation that's before us that I wanted to expound on. We're asking for a resolution to approve for gear for our fire department. There was some concern about that, but the manager has spoken with the fire chief, and he's already given his blessing on that. He's okay. The concerns that he had, the questions were answered to his satisfaction. And we have another piece of resolution for it's 04-2021, authorizing the municipal manager to purchase a 2021 Ford Explorer for a police department. Those are just a few of our legislation that we have before us tonight. The meeting went on. We had one other piece of business in our law department was in our law meeting. OWPC. And that legislation is before us tonight also. And our meeting ended at 7:30 p.m.
Very well. Mr. Burkhalter, go ahead.
Ms. Brown, you spoke on equipment being bought for the fire department.
Yes.
Where's that funding coming out of? Is it coming out of the levy funds?
The amount is $27,000. It's roughly around $27,000, and I don't believe that's coming out of the levy.
Where's the funds coming out of?
Currently, we have it earmarked for the general fund. The levy fund will be replenished here in, should be coming back in April. We'll have the first tax disbursement into the levy fund.
So we're taking the money out of the general fund and we have a levy for things like this. Will that money be replaced back in the general fund when we receive the levy funds?
No, the levy funds are currently earmarked for payroll for the fire department, as well as the debt we're paying on the ambulances with the fire department.
And if I can add, Ms. Brown mentioned the dollar amount for that equipment was $27,000. We did receive a better quote from Gaul's, which was $19,749 and 81 cents.
Yes, it was a nice savings through the joint purchasing agreement, and also Lieutenant Forth working with his contact out there.
Any other questions, Ms. Brown?
Mayor, not a question for Ms. Brown, but when we get to legislation, I sent the chief a text. I needed an answer from him before we get to resolution 2021 regarding the equipment for the cruisers. So if he can look at that and then give me a holler back.
Very well.
I think I saw it too, Jerry, and there needs to be a correction on that real quick.
I know I asked Lieutenant Forth and I didn't get an answer back, and now I see it again. So
I'll take a look. I'll take a look at it now.
Yeah, well,
Is it a typo?
No, we have a quote for $13,597, and the resolution says the most we're allowed to spend is $13,597, and we're equipping 3 cruisers. And when I look at the quote, and this is what I asked them, is the quantity items are either 1 or 2, and I don't know.
The
one cruiser, is this for 1 cruiser or is this for all 3 cruisers? And I didn't get my answer back.
I can answer that, Jerry. That should really be per vehicle. It's 1 cruiser is 13,000 to equip like that.
So then our resolution is incorrect.
Yeah.
Hey, Mayor.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Mr. Lawson. I can't remember if it was finance or the law meeting, but I think it's probably important for our residents to know. They probably already know, but we talked about when you could file your income tax return. I think it was February 15th instead of the 12th.
No, so the what you're referring to is that Internal Revenue is not accepting any returns or to file your taxes until February the 12th, beginning February the 12th.
Okay, correct. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that who's planning on filing their taxes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean that's a government thing, but yeah, they kind of changed it up a little bit this year because of the pandemic.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Anybody else got any questions out there? So with that being said, Emily, the legislation kind of reads, it doesn't spell out that it's per vehicle.
So when we get to that one, we'll need a motion to make an amendment.
Okay. All right.
I had one other question, and that's with the tree board, the transfer to the tree board. The legislation still reads 10,000, and it should be 15. What's in the packet? I just want to make sure that our original says 15.
Yeah, the original that Monica has says 15.
Perfect. Great.
Yes. Okay. All right. Having no other questions for Ms. Brown, municipal managers report.
Well, I don't have a whole lot other than just getting back and trying to catch up and going through the legislation, both for finance and then to law. I will tell you, while I was gone, we did bring the one officer on that you introduced, Mr. Means. One of the other officers we were looking at hiring last minute decided not to, he didn't accept the position. We offered it to him, he did not accept. I was thankful we did it before we brought him on, spent the time on uniforming him and starting the training, and then have him want to leave. So we do have another interview set, the chief and I, with Lieutenant Forth, with another police applicant tomorrow. I believe that's tomorrow morning. So we'll just keep plugging away at that process. Hopefully we get another officer hired to kind of cover some of these shifts that we're a little short on. So,
okay.
I know everyone throughout the county is frustrated with the COVID vaccination program, but we're all going to have to figure this out. I know I vented to Miss Treview in an email when one resident called, and I was like, good luck trying to find a location, because you ask 80-year-olds to be quick to the fingers to be able to get on the phone or their computer at the minute the appointments open up, and God bless them if they can. But it's just a frustrating process. So
yeah. It is. It is.
Mayor.
It is. It is.
Well,
Yes.
let me add one more
wait a
thing.
minute.
I did meet with the pool contractor today. Paula and I went down to the pool and met the pool contractor. And he's already done some work at the splash park or the splash pad, took the old equipment out. We did turn in his colors, the colors today for him. We then also walked and looked over all the concrete, proposed concrete, and what he suggested the best to do is for him, he has the quantity that we had in there in our specification. He goes, why don't I look at all the concrete around, starting from the edge of your pools and going back, and look at the worst areas and see how much of that quantity is absorbed. And then if we have any left over, we can do other pieces. And I told him, that's fine. Let's try to stick to the quantity. I know once we start doing concrete work, there's very likely an issue where you're going to have other cracks or something in that nature when they try to saw cut. I'm anticipating a little more, but I hope we can stay as close to that quantity item as we can. So that was a pretty good meeting, even though it was cold outside.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. All right. Any questions for Jerry and his report today?
I just had a comment, Mayor,
Sure.
related to the COVID vaccine availability and some of the challenges with getting that vaccine. Is very hard to find an appointment, but individuals can call 211. They do have a call center where they are helping people get appointments. So for those seniors that have a hard time trying to navigate different phone numbers and websites, if they call 211, they will get connected to someone that will help them schedule that appointment for them.
Thank you.
Of course, you do have to make sure that you are in the eligibility pool to be able to do that. They are tiering that by age right now, but they can call 211 and get assistance with scheduling an appointment for the COVID vaccine.
So just to be clear, this week is school teachers, correct? School personnel
they
and group
open-
1B or 1A?
1A and 1B are open right now.
Okay.
That is individuals that are 80 or older, first responders, like healthcare workers, first responders. And then they opened it up to those that are 80 and older. And then the next phase opens up on February 1st, and that is for individuals 75 and older.
Gotcha. Thank you, Kiana. Thank you for keeping us just posted on that, your area of expertise. So we appreciate that. We really appreciate that. Finance Director's report.
Thank you, Mayor.
No worries.
Not a whole lot to add outside of what Ms. Travey already reported. I did go ahead and send everybody on council, a copy of the 2020 village financial statements. Those will be submitted to the state of Ohio towards the end of February, but those are complete and they are there for your review. If you have any questions or concerns, please do email or call me before our February meeting so we can make sure that those are addressed. The local government services group had offered to review those for free for me, so I'm going to take them up on that as well. So any thoughts or recommendations they have, we'll be sure to make those. I will send to you probably tomorrow morning the financial statements for the Woodlawn Special Improvement District as well. Those are complete and ready for council's review. We'll go ahead and schedule to release all those at the same time. We would take an ad out in the Inquirer to let the public know when those are available for review at the village offices. But I think I kind of did a little bit of looking back, and I know this will be probably the first time in about 4 years that we've had those statements ready and submitted on time. So again, just some good steps forward for the village.
Good.
Other than that, not a whole lot else to report. I think probably what was reported as part of the committee reports is all we have.
Very well. I appreciate that. Any questions for Tim? We do need to approve. I need a motion.
Question, Mayor.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, I don't have a question. What I want to do is commend Mr. Engel for the work he's done since he's been here.
Yes.
I started in July 1st of 2019. And when I got here, I asked for our 2018 numbers and I got a chuckle. They said, we're still working on 2017 and then they'll start 18s. So we've come a long way.
Yeah, we have.
Time.
Yeah.
I just want to commend Tim for all the work. And hopefully we'll see a lot of those citations go away in our next audit report.
Yes.
That's the goal.
That's our goal. That's right. That's our goal.
Thank you.
I need a motion to approve the bank reconciliation, receipt listings, and payment listings in your packets.
Mayor, you said you need a motion to approve the bank reconciliation, receipt listing, and payment listing?
That is correct.
So moved.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All ayes.
Aye.
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 Very well. Seems to be no
Aye.
nays. Ms. Brown, you got back. I see you. Good.
I got back my computer. Are our new computers, tablets ready? It just went. It
all right.
died.
Well,
It was fully
okay.
charged and then it just
It's
died.
It's okay. Don't put your panic button on. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Law director's report.
Thanks, Mayor. And nothing major to report. Two minor things, which I mentioned before the meeting started. The first is with the passage of the charter amendments, our process for passing legislation will change just slightly. Ordinances will still be read on 3 separate days and will still go into effect 30 days after passage unless there's an emergency clause or it's an appropriation measure. But resolutions will only be read one time, so there'll be no need to waive readings on those or suspend the rules, and those go into effect immediately. So that is the change on that. Regarding the rules of council, I would like to discuss those at the next committee of the whole meeting so that we're sure that the changes that council is looking for are handled properly. So those are the only 2 things I had, though.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now Jerry's got his hand up.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We have committee of the whole in February.
Correct.
Are we going to go ahead and include the continuation of the policies and procedures? Or are we going to set up a separate meeting to try to knock that out?
Well, Emily, how far along did you get? I can't remember.
We got about halfway.
I thought we did.
think. Yeah.
I thought we did about half, didn't we?
I believe it was through 6.
Through 6?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to say that Ms. Brown spent about an hour and a little bit over an hour with that, right? So I'm just trying to gauge how much more time it would take us to kind of complete that other piece.
Why don't you my suggestion, if anybody else is in agreement, is to do another separate meeting from Cal. Just to be able to knock it all out, if we could do that. I don't know what all is going to be on the Cal's agenda. Because
I'll let the team know.
If we spend another hour on it, and then in addition to whatever else is on the Cal's agenda, we could be looking at 2-3 hours, maybe.
Okay, I'll look at it and then give some feedback, okay?
No problem.
But yeah, we
Go
do need
ahead.
to get it done in February so we can get our rules of council taken
Correct.
care of.
Correct.
Also, because I had the issue with my tablet, Mr. Burkhalter, what was your concerns? I don't know what your concerns were. You were asking a question about the gear for the fire department. I'm just for my information. What were your concerns?
I was asking where the funds were coming from. Was it coming from levy funds or the general fund?
Mm-hmm. And I believe it was the general fund, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to know what it was.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
Pam had her hand up.
I got a question
I
about
seen
the
her.
procedures.
Uh-huh.
I know the last time we spent about 2 hours on the line on that. Is that something we can review? This is my question. Is there something we can review in advance individually and then come collectively? Or is that something we have to go line by line like we did before? But I know it was at least a couple of hours.
You talk about that policy, Pam?
Correct.
The personnel manual?
Is that the same? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, everyone should have all the revisions and the and the memorandum that explains all the changes.
I remember having the revisions, but I don't remember having the original. But I just know, I was just wondering if it's something we can task to do ourselves to review and come back with the questions, or is it something that has to be collectively done together? That's my question.
Well, I think it's helpful for everyone to review them in advance and have their question. I'm certainly willing to address individual questions if they come up outside of a meeting. It might benefit the whole group, though, to hear those questions so that everyone is on the same page. The items I distributed were the revised copy and a memorandum that indicated what all the changes were. As I indicated, there is not a red line of this because of how the process was first undertaken by an outside agency. I didn't have an actual red line. Council members should all have the original manual. If you don't, we can get you a copy of it. But I don't know how helpful that is, just because the changes and the reorganization, I think it would be difficult to follow, which is why I did the memo to outline what the changes were.
So can you send me the original? Because I didn't have that. I don't recall having that. I know I didn't have it during that meeting, so.
I'll ask Charla for it, because honestly, I'm not even sure if what I have is incorporates all the most recent changes. As smaller changes have been made, I'm not sure that I have those in one collective document. So I'll check. I'll have Charla email you that.
Okay, thank you.
If not, I've got, I think pretty much what Emily has as far as the last revisions. And I can get a copy of it to Monica if she doesn't have a copy, or to Charla. Charla may have it. She should have it.
Somebody should have it. Should be being distributed to new employees.
Right. All right. All right. Emily, you have anything else?
That's it.
Any questions for Emily, team? All right. I just got a couple things on that I wanted to make note of. One, Kiana kind of covered it. I really wanted to just really dive deep into this whole COVID thing, just to kind of put some ease to our seniors out there. I know we are struggling with getting a slot to even take the vaccination. I get it. I hear it all the time. And it is a battle. I mean, I just can't imagine, as Jerry said, an 80-plus-year-old man or woman that is just not have any inkling in terms of technology to get on and try to find a spot. So I get that. So we do, I can't say I apologize because I didn't do it. This is a government thing, but I do apologize for the fact that our seniors have to go through that. That bothers me for that. So hopefully the information that Kiana shared, and I'll repeat it, is she's saying that if seniors are having issues with scheduling, that they can call 211. And there is a live agent that will get on with them and schedule them for an open available appointment to have the vaccination administered. So again, the number is 211. And that is for you to call seniors if you are having trouble out there scheduling an appointment for the vaccination. So we're just going to have, again, we're all in this together and we just got to bail through. So it hopefully the process is going to get better. So that's all I can hope, is the process is going to get better. Seniors. I just kept put seniors on here. So again, the meat of that I wanted to just share with the public out there is about our seniors. But again, Kiana kind of just put it in the nutshell for me. So I appreciate that. But again, seniors, if you are struggling with that, you have found solace here calling the village offices, and our staff here has been phenomenal resource for our seniors out there that are needing help, giving them some direction where they need to go in terms of various things. So staff here at the Village Hall, hats off to you, because you are the first line of contact with some of these people. So we thank you for that. Pretty much that is all I have. Again, Chief, I want to make it known that as we are still in our 1 week on, 1 week off with our students, I am still seeing a lot of speeding through the neighborhood. Kids are always in these neighborhoods because of their schedule. So I'm asking the public, please be mindful that our kids are still in the neighborhoods. So we are asking you to please watch your speed in the neighborhood. We ask you to please do that. Okay. So that's all that I have. We can move right on into legislation. Emily, if you're ready to move.
Sure.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Chief.
I got a clarification for the manager and for Emily. That dollar amount for those vehicles, for the equipment, that's ×3 that dollar amount.
Right. The 13, whatever it was, ×3.
Right.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Mayor,
Yes.
need approval of the monthly mayor's court statement, please.
Oh, you know what? I just made a note of that right here. Do, 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 do. Right. Team, before we move into legislation, Emily, I'm sorry, I do need I need to approve the mayor's monthly statement for the month of December of 2020 with a grand total of $20,363.99 is in that report. So I just need a motion to approve that monthly statement.
I make a motion to approve the monthly mayor's court monthly statement.
Second.
Motion been moved properly. Second, all ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Okay, thank you.
Aye.
Ms. Treyview, are you in agreement with this? Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. Mr. Burkhalter, you okay with this report?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you, Emily. Go ahead.
All right. The first is ordinance number 1, 2021. An ordinance providing for new fund numbers for certain funds and eliminating certain funds within the village budget.
All right. I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 01, 2021.
I make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 404-2021.
01, 2021. Ordinance number 01, 2021.
01-2021.
I'll second it.
All right. Motion been properly moved and second on the suspension. Roll call on the suspension.
Sorry about that. Garrett Burkholz,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Yeah, aye.
Emma Fitzgerald, Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Kiana Tribune.
All right. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 01, 2021.
I'll make a motion for passage of ordinance number 01, 2021.
Second it.
Motion been moved properly. Second, roll call on the passage.
Garrett Burkhalter,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Kiana Tribune.
Aye.
Very well. Thank you.
The next is ordinance number 02, 2021. An ordinance imposing a fire hydrant maintenance, repair, and replacement fee.
Very well. I need a motion to suspend the rules of ordinance number 02, 2021.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance number 02, 2021.
My
Second
second.
it.
Motion been moved properly. Second on the suspension. Roll call. Suspension, please.
Garrett Burkhalter,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Aye.
I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 02-2021.
I'll make a motion for passage of ordinance number 02-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Aye.
All right.
The next item is ordinance number 03-2021, an ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 22-2020 pertaining to the salaries and compensation of all offices and positions in the village of Woodlawn and declaring an emergency.
Very well. I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 03-2021.
Make a motion to suspend rules for ordinance number 03-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on the suspension, please.
Second that, please.
Huh?
Second it, Mayor.
I did.
Okay,
Councilman Lawson.
right.
Roll call, Gary Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Aye.
I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 02-2021.
02 or 03?
I said
03.
03. I'm sorry. I'm playing the Rosemary Brown over here, aren't I?
Well, I said I didn't say anything wrong.
Earlier you did.
Okay.
LOL. 03. It's 03.
All right.
So again, I need a motion
Okay, for
for,
passage.
correct. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 03-2021.
I'll make that motion for passage for ordinance 03-2021.
Second.
Second it.
Very well, properly moved and second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Aye.
Very well. I need a motion for declaring an emergency on ordinance number 03-2021.
Make a motion to declare ordinance 03-2021 an emergency.
Second.
All right, motion been properly moved and second. Roll call on the emergency.
Gary Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Aye.
Very well.
The next item is ordinance number 04-2021, an ordinance changing the contribution to the mayor's court computer fund on each citation payout or court adjudication from $1 to $10 and declaring an emergency.
All right, I need a motion to suspend the rules of ordinance number 04-2021.
I make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 04-2021.
A second.
Motion been moved properly. Second roll call on these.
Gary
this is-
Burkhalter,
Thank you.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Very well. I need a motion on the passage of ordinance number 04-2021.
I'll make a motion for passage of ordinance number 04-2021.
Second it.
Roll call on the passage.
Gary Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Trabue.
Aye.
I need a motion to declare an emergency on ordinance number 04-2021.
Make a motion to declare ordinance 04-2021 an emergency.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second on the emergency. Roll call.
Gary Burkhalter.
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Nick Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson.
Aye.
Deanna Tribune.
Aye.
All right.
Next item is ordinance number 05-2021, an ordinance to advance up to $165,000 from the general fund to the Community Development Block Grant CDBG Fund.
I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 05-2021.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance number 05-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on the suspension.
Deanna Tribune,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Deborah Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Gary Burkhalter.
Aye.
Very well. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 05-2021.
Make a motion. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion for passage of ordinance number 05-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call
Deanna
on
Tribune.
ordinance number 05-2021.
Sorry about that, Mayor. Deanna Tribune,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Boyd,
Yes.
Gary Burkhalter.
Aye.
That was passage, right, Monica?
What's passage?
Okay. All right. Okay, Emily?
Next item is ordinance number 06-2021, an ordinance to transfer $15,000 from the general fund to the tree board fund.
All right. I need a motion to suspend the rules of ordinance number 06-2021.
Make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 06-2021.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on the suspension of ordinance 06-2021.
Gary Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
I just want to make sure that that legislation changes to 15,000, not,
The hard copy is 15,000.
well, my hard copy is 10.
It's 10, correct. I have for the proceeding, for the book, it says 15 grand.
Thank you, Mayor.
No problem.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Tribune.
Very well. That was our passage, right, Monica?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm putting these over here. All right.
So I think that was just suspension.
It will be passage.
All right, very well. All right, I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 06-2021.
Motion, I make a motion for passage of ordinance 06-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call.
Burkhalter,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Tribune.
Aye.
Okay.
The next item is ordinance number 07-2021, an ordinance amending appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
All right, I need a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance number 07-2021.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance number 07-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call.
Gary Burkhalter,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Deanna Tribune,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Mr. Boyd.
Yes.
All right. I need, that's number 7, our passage. I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 07-2021.
I'll make a motion for passage for ordinance number 07-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on the passage.
Tribune,
Aye.
Burkhalter,
Aye.
Ms. Boyd,
Yes.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Ms. Brown,
Aye.
Ms. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is resolution number 02-2021, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with PAR Public Safety Equipment for the purchase and installation of emergency equipment for 3 police vehicles. Before we move to suspend, we need a motion to change the dollar amount in the third whereas clause and in section 1 to $40,791.54.
Correct. I need a motion to
$40,000.
$40,791.54.
Correct.
Okay. Thank
Is there a motion on the floor to approve that number? To change that number in our resolution?
Make a motion that we change the amount in the third whereas from 13,597.18 to 40,791.54. And in section 1, change the amounts from 13,597.18 to 47,91.54.
I'll second.
All right. All eyes in the agreements of the change?
Aye.
Okay, Emily, we can move on with resolution 02.
We need to, yes, we just need a motion for passage on that resolution now.
Do we suspend the rules?
We do not need to suspend the rules.
Oh, that's right. Brian, get with it. That's a new one for me. Get me. All right. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 02-2021.
Make a motion for passage for resolution 02-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on resolution 02-2021.
Ms. Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Ms. Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Deanna Tribune,
Aye.
Gary Burkhalter.
Aye.
Very well.
Next item is resolution 03-2021, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Gaul's LLC for the purchase of protective gear for the members of the fire department.
All right. I need a motion to suspend. Nope. I need a motion for passage of resolution 03-2021.
I just ask a quick question.
Yes.
The amount changed from 27. I did see a $27,000 figure, so that amount went down to 19. Is that correct?
Yes, this was the second bid.
I'm sorry.
This was a second bid and it came in lower.
Okay.
What's the resolution?
All
number?
right. So the resolution number is 03-2021. I just need a motion for passage.
I make a motion for passage of resolution 03-2021.
Second.
Motion been moved properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye. This one is asking, it asked for the same thing that the first bid asked for. Is that correct?
It just came in as a lower bid.
Yeah, I don't see the first one in here to compare it. So this is the same as the first one. Okay.
is that a yes?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Robert Lawson,
Oh, aye. Aye.
Deanna Tribune,
Aye.
Gary Burkhalter.
Aye.
Okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I don't think we heard from Ms. Boyd.
I was going to say Miss Boyd.
Yes.
Oh,
All right. Hey, Emily.
All right, the next one is Resolution 04-2021.
Hold on. I'm sorry. And looking at this quote, I see it says sold to Woodlawn Municipal Fire Department, and it has Rick Minette's name on it.
Yeah, they must have just had him and still in their system.
In their system. We'll have it removed. It should be attention to the current fire chief. It was probably in their records. Thank you for pointing that out.
Kind of scary though. He's been gone for a minute.
Well, what makes it scary? It's just again, that's their internal records though.
We've not gotten anything from them since then. Hopefully we haven't.
You're on mute, Chief.
For them to still have him listed.
But again, Ms. Brown, that's their system. I know what you're saying. It's just simply taking him out of there and put the current chief in there.
Mayor,
What? Go ahead.
we'll have finance take care of that. I mean, this might be the first time that the fire department has ordered from Gauls in quite a while. I know
Okay.
the department does. So we just need to make sure they have for each department the proper contact.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, the next item is resolution number 04-2021, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to purchase a 2021 Ford Explorer for the Woodlawn Police Division.
All right. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 04-2021.
I'll make a motion for passage of resolution 04-2021.
Second it.
Motion been moved properly. Second roll call on the passage, please.
Campbell Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Robert Lawson. Aye. Kiana Tribune,
Aye.
Derek Burkhalter,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Yes.
Rosemary Brown.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we missed over? Emily, I think we hit them all.
I think we got them all.
All right. All right. Is there any new business that comes before this council?
I just have one thing, Mayor.
Sure.
I know months ago, we talked about possibly getting a stop sign on Timberland and Timberview. You mentioned lots of speeders there, same in this area over in Timberland and Timberview. And I was wondering the status of that.
I think that is something that needs to be maybe to the police chief, because I remember that conversation. And our concern as a full body was that we see the excessive speeding through multiple neighborhoods. So does that mean that we're going to erect additional stop signs? But I would say, Pam, that the best person to answer that would be the police chief along with the village manager.
Well, I made a proposal, a recommendation that we erect the stop sign there so that we can better control that, because we can't be everywhere. So my recommendation that we put the stop sign there and make it a three-way stop. That was my recommendation.
But we
Right.
also talked about some of the other issues that are happening in the village as well. So how do we address all of those issues when we talk about speeding?
Sorry.
I mean, we can address all of them, but I just know we discussed this. I want to say it was in a safety meeting or something like that. And Woodview residents in this cul-de-sac and street, we talked about this. And last I heard is that there were stop signs that were available that could be put out. I mean, I don't know what the process is of that, but I know it's been months ago. I know I've witnessed several speeders going at least 60, 75 miles an hour down this short street. So I just thought I would bring it to the attention of the body again and to bring up the question which the residents have in regards to how do we, since it was mentioned a stop sign, is that even still possible to get that discussed again or in? So I was bringing it to the body tonight as new business.
Again, where was that stop sign you were requesting?
For Timberview and Timberland Drive, to break the speed up between coming off of Chester Road.
And also coming from the cul-de-sac at the end.
All the way up. I mean, it's this excessive speed. It's not even in the 40s. I'd say it's probably in the 60s. I almost saw a kid get wiped out.
So you're saying in midsection of that cul-de-sac?
Saying when they turn down from Chester Road,
right,
either north or south, somebody's coming down here excessive speeds. Various people. So the Woodview residents are concerned, and I know we talked about this months ago, but they wanted this brought back up, so I decided to bring it up tonight.
We've had director patrols, but as you know, no one's going to do anything when they see that black and white car sitting there. So we do have director patrols when we get things reported to us. We sit on it for a while, then after a while it dies off, and then it starts back up. So it was just my recommendation that we try to regulate that with a stationary stop sign that people will have to obey. And if they're not obeying it, then we get more complaints on it. We get up there and start enforcing it heavily throughout the village. Wherever the complaint is, it'll be enforced heavily. We may want to send messages to the residents, because it's our residents that's what's violating this, the speeding. It's people who live in the community, not visitors. So it's
I have to probably say both, Tillman. I think some of these people are not living on the street. So, but I don't know why they use, I mean, you said it's all over, but with this being a cul-de-sac, I don't know if they just don't know that, but it's pretty scary.
Mayor, can I just speak, Mayor? Anyway, okay, as the mayor said, it needs to be addressed there, definitely. And I don't know, Chief, if you and the mayor talk, but if there are other areas that he specifies, I don't know how expensive a stop sign is or how it will affect the traffic flow. But to protect our constituents, and especially our children and elderly like myself, I'm trying to cross the street, I think we need to get on top of this. The mayor says it's everywhere. So if I'm not sure what you would do about that as safety.
Right. I don't have a problem with stop signs being erected if that's going to help the issue. But I just want to point out that I live on a corner, a four-way corner with stop signs, and they come through there coming off of Riddle Road as if they're on 75. So we can't address one issue if we're not looking at all of the issues. Maybe the stop sign will slow them down, but because what I'm saying is that I have a stop sign that is permanently erected at my house, and they still are going from my corner to the cul-de-sac, almost 50 miles an hour up that short street. So we have some concerns, not only on Timberland, but throughout the village. So perhaps, Ms. Boyd, you and your team on safety will be tasked to maybe come up with some ideas how to approach that village-wide.
I'm thinking of some kind of public aware. I'm thinking, this is Councilman Lawson, I'm thinking of some kind of public awareness, because it's like Pam said, I know she's concerned about her cul-de-sac over there. But I also have a problem coming up Joliet. I got a stop sign right here. So somehow we got to come up with some kind of public awareness, because even coming down when you void in between Woodlawn and Wyoming, where there's 2 lanes of traffic and we go into 1 lane of traffic, people are speeding right there, and they're cussing, they're swearing. I hear horns going. And my barbershop is right outside, Lawson's Barbershop, 9870 Springfield Pike. Anybody that wants to come by, you definitely can. But they are speeding right through that zone. So it's not just your cul-de-sac is everywhere.
You're right. Yes,
I mean, I do understand that,
Yes,
but
sir.
we've been talking about this this goes back to at least 6 or 7 months ago. I'm not sure who was in the safety committee meeting,
Right.
but it's not like I just brought this up a couple months ago.
No.
This has been at least 6
Garbage
months.
issue.
And
No.
this, and not
Mayor?
just me, I'm just
Right.
saying that it's the street, our collaborative group on the street is who brought this up. And then, you know, I decided to bring it up again because I haven't seen anything done. I know that there would have supposed to have been stop signs that may be available to put here, but I just wanted to know the status of it. So that's why I brought it up again.
Okay. All right.
Mayor,
Yes. Yes.
I was just gonna say that, you said part of what I was gonna say to talk through in safety committee meeting, because I could say the same for the corner down here, Roberta and Brookhaven. When people are coming down Brookhaven, they don't stop. They just come rolling right on through the stop sign. So just thinking through if there's an opportunity to do a study across the village to determine all these different places, and then we can have a plan to kind of address all of the areas in different ways. And then also, I want to caution us from thinking that the stop sign is going to be the solution, because studies actually show that stop signs are not that effective with traffic control, but it should be combined with other tactics as well. So that's why I think it's important to kind of do that study and figure out what the best option is. It might not be a stop sign. It might be something else. It might be a speed bump or something else like that.
Well, just to piggyback on what you said, Kiana, that's where it started with the street. The street of Woodview wanted to possibly invest into a speed bump. That's where it started about 2 years ago, and talking about the speed bump. Then they reached out to see, was that something that Woodlawn could help with? And then it kind of led into the discussion of what's the cost of repairs? Is this something that we want to maintain long-term if the Woodview has to maintain it? And then that's why they reached out to Woodlawn. And that's when the discussion became a part of, is there another solution of a possible stop sign? So that's the direction that it kind of flowed to. I understand the studies, but it started with the speed bump, and that the Woodview residents would possibly try to pay for that to slow down the traffic, but we wanted to open it up to our options of seeing if Woodlawn had any other options.
With what I'm hearing, there will be a saturation of patrols over in the Fairlawn subdivision as well as Timberland. There will be a saturation of patrols for the next 30 days. Whatever we yield in the next 30 days from that saturation of patrols, it will be reported to council. And that means people have been cited or warned or sent on their way. Council will know what the results were from the Fairlawn and from Timberland through our saturated directive patrols.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just have one question of Ms. Fitzgerald, and I know the chief is there and Mr. Brownlow's there. If we can get, when is its most prevalent time of speeders? Do you have times of the day?
I want to say the last couple ones I saw was about 4 o'clock.
PM?
Yes.
Okay. Any other times?
I see it every day, all day. Even at night.
Well, we have to be within reason, Tony. It's not every day, all day. Are you up all night?
No, it's every day,
Here.
all day, Jerry.
I'm trying to,
All day.
Mayor, I would like to take this up with the chief, this whole conversation again.
That's my point. That you have that conversation with the chief, and you and the chief should come up with some kind of whatever study or however that's going to be done. But again, this is not just happening on one street. It's happening on our street. And I see it all the time. No, I'm not up in the wee hours of the morning, but by God, most of the time that I am there, I see it. And I'm working from home. I see it all the time now. So it's all over this village.
Well, it needs to be addressed.
It's all over this village.
For safety reasons, it needs to be addressed immediately.
That's right. Absolutely.
No matter where it is.
Where
We
it
need
is.
to keep people safe.
Safe is
The
safety.
issue about where it is
Right.
irrelevant to the fact that we've got to keep people safe.
Right. Gotcha.
May I say something? I think I may have thrown this out before. In the areas where they where there are a lot of kids playing, the utilization of signs that says kids at play may possibly be of help. And also, if there are areas where kids are, if we have any kids that are hard of hearing or whatever, I believe there's specialized signs
Mhm.
that you can also get and have erected in that area. So that's
Well,
just something
that's
else to
kind of
think about.
that's kind of something that I mean, you would only use that, Miss Brown, if we know for a fact. So we're not going to go out as a village and search out to see who is having hard hearing. I mean, that should
No,
be
sir,
brought.
we're not.
Oh,
I
okay.
said if there were
Oh,
kids
okay.
that we are aware of, or
Okay.
areas that we are aware of that
Uh-huh.
exists.
Oh, okay.
Those are just some things that we can think about.
Right.
That can be thought about or talked about with the village manager and Aaron.
Okay.
I just got one quick question, Mayor, for Chief. This saturated effort in these areas, is it gonna cause overtime?
Absolutely. If you want this to go away, we have to be in these areas.
And it's going to cost overtime.
Yes.
Like I said, I'll have a conversation with the chief regarding this matter, and we'll come up with a game plan.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else that comes before this council? New business? Having none, I need a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion for adjournment.
Segment.
Motion been moved, properly second, all ayes?
Aye.
Very
Aye.
well. Thank you so much, team. Have a wonderful evening and continue to be